I hate videos. Now, you may be wondering, if I hate videos, what the heck am I doing here? Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Wonder Women Wednesday, where we bring you ordinary women making an extraordinary difference. And I'm super excited to welcome Christine here with us today. If you and I haven't met yet, I'm recognized as a connection catalyst. I help entrepreneurs develop a strategy so that they can stand out and connect with their ideal community. So, welcome back to those listening on radio. That was Ramalia Iso with Rupse Nam, and followed by Kunjalo with Heimak Avech. Today, I am speaking with Christine Smith, and we will be talking about trust. If you don't know how this show usually goes, it's the reason we choose a specific theme is because it is related to the person that I'll be interviewing. My question to them is, what is the one thing that has allowed you to overcome adversity in your life? So for Christine, it is trust, and that's what we'll be talking about today. If you and I have not met yet, my name is Inga van Roy, and I am the host of today's show. If you're watching live, please drop us a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you are listening on radio, thank you for spending this time with us. If you'd like to join the conversation on WhatsApp, please send us a WhatsApp message to the following number +276 9 714 45204. Once again, if you'd like to join the conversation on WhatsApp, please send us a message to +276 9 714 45204. And if you are watching live and would like to be part of the conversation on the radio, please tune in to this website that is scrolling across your screen. It will be my privilege and honor to welcome you on that side, especially after this live portion. I will still continue to be playing a little bit of music and wrapping up the topic of the day. Anyway, without further ado, how about we welcome the, the guest of honor for today? Welcome to you, Christine. Thank you for being here with us. How are you?
That is a complicated answer.
Why?
You asked me to come, and I think my heart went in a completely different direction. And for some
Really?
reason, I'm hearing us our voices are doubled up here at
Mm,
the moment.
okay.
So I'm
Are you
I'm
are you
listening to
listening on
myself talk
radio?
again.
Oh
I'm not on
no.
radio, am I?
Oh no.
Let me make sure that you know
Actually,
what?
you know what? It's your
I
LinkedIn.
It is. You helped me again. Now it won't be so complicated. I'm rescued from myself. Oh, goodness sakes. how am I? It really is complicated because when you asked me to do
Mhm.
this and we had that little talk ahead of time, I thought, where do I go in adversity? Oh, I don't want to talk about adversity. That's
Mhm.
emotionally difficult.
Mhm.
And so I dug through my files and I found that paper. I still have it 40 years later.
Wow.
I found the paper that I wrote in college where I thought it just said trust, but my title is Trust Me.
Mm.
And if you say it in maybe with a different tone, like, trust me, come on, and it's like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
or almost the opposite would be somebody's hand reaching forward and those eyes that are looking at you and just going, trust me. And you think, oh my goodness, I need to be rescued. And this I'm looking at your screen right now and you've got those two hands holding. I think that's what I was thinking about, is somebody saying,
Yes.
apply your best trust to me in this situation. I'm here, I'm ready to help, and you need this.
Mm.
So yeah, how am I? I'm emotional. How are you?
It's all good. It's all good.
It is. It's
Um,
all there.
I'm well. I'm well. Um, I've actually been ill, but I'm doing better today. I'm doing better. Um, won't you please introduce yourself and let everyone know who is Christine A. Smith and what does she stand for?
I'm listed as a geropreneur. This is my own invention, and that is that now that I am 63, in fact, from age 60 on, I've reinvented myself for the sake of others and for myself. I'm getting benefit out of this too. So I made a few dollars selling a book, and I had never written a book before. So I thought, there it is. I'm a geropreneur. I am a person who has advanced to this point in age, who is innovating or creating something, and in exchange for money, which is the way economy works,
Mhm.
um, that benefits people who are also at a point in their aging. And it has to do with aging. So that's what I call a geropreneur, is someone who's selling something, maybe services or solutions or some sort of support, and they're doing it as a person who is maybe past 55, maybe that's a good cutoff point,
Mm.
and they're doing this. They have maybe tweaked something so that it's more relatable for people in their 60s, 70s, and way beyond, or they've created something brand new. They saw that there was a gap and they are building a bridge across that gap so that other people can come to somewhere for an understanding heart, or a thing that they need in
Mhm.
their hand to
Mhm.
help them to with a challenge, like maybe arthritis, and they need something to help them open the jar of sauerkraut. So, and theirs works better if you have difficulty with your hands, and it may
Mhm.
be that they're opening their doors virtually or um, physically in person to people who are saying, I need support. I'm dealing with something that's age related. and I just need to know that there's somebody else in there with me. I
Mm,
also call myself an aging enthusiast because it's such a change from a person who says, I'm going to do all the anti aging stuff to make sure I never look old, feel old, think old, or are perceived as old. Whatever you think old
mhm,
might be, dusty, stagnant, just
mm,
not with what's going on around them, whatever it is. But I'm an aging enthusiast because I'm enthusiastic about giving people resources ahead of time when they
mm,
think, well, I'm not really that old yet. And it's like, great, here's some resources for you to know about so that when you are thinking, am I that old now? Is this happening or happening to someone that I care about? Are they at this age now? So those are two words that explain me, but I'm also a daughter of a mom who is now going to be turning 92.
wow.
I'm a wife, and Inger knows my husband very well.
Yes.
D. Scott Smith, motivational listener. You can find him on LinkedIn there. And I'm also a mom and a sister. I've been a teacher and
Mm,
I have been a hired caregiver in private residences over a number of years, and I almost reached 100 different people for whom I was hired or who personally hired me so they could
wow.
outsource some of that stuff that was just becoming difficult, or they it wasn't as efficient as it used to be. And so there was personal things and companion things. And I was their Uber Lyft. I was whatever it was that they needed, the eyes that they needed to see details. And
Mm.
sometimes they said, can you help me with this computer? And I'm like, no, you probably know more about it than I do. But that was last decade. I know a smidge more, enough that I can obey Inger when she says, scroll up. Click on that, copy and paste, put it in the browser. I'm like, I know these things. I do.
Well, it's a privilege to have you here with us. Thank you for taking the time out to spend with us today and share a bit about who you are and what makes you tick. Um,
Yeah.
so, before we jump into the conversation, how about we say hello to the awesome people that are watching and tuned in here with us? Look, oh, we have Karen Rivera. She says, ready to enjoy my afternoon treat. And she says, greetings from the piney woods of Thomasville, Georgia today. Her show is on the road this week. So usually Karen is in a different location, but today she is in Thomasville, Georgia. Thank you for being here, Karen. That's so wonderful. And then we have
Yay.
my beautiful sister. She is tuned in from Denmark, and this is Michelle Quick. She says, hi from Denmark. Happy to be here. You rock. Michelle, you rock. Um, Michelle was a guest on this show a couple of weeks ago, actually,
Mm.
and we spoke about perseverance. So, sorry, not perseverance, perspective. So, if you haven't seen that episode, please go back and check it out. Michelle shared quite a few nuggets with us. And we have Gail Robertson. She says, aging enthusiasts unite.
Woohoo!
I thought so. I thought you would react that way. And we have Diane Bayer. She was also a Wonder Woman. And she says, hello from the beaches of the Northeast. Thank you for being here, Diane. Nice to see you. And we have Gail. She says, greetings from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, about 4 hours down the road from me. Yes. Hi, Gail. Thank you for being here with us. And look who is saying hello. We have D. Scott Smith. I think he heard you say his name. He says hello from Independence, Oregon.
That's right.
Michelle says we and yep. um, so Diane was also a guest on the show, and we spoke about um, hmm, I can't remember. Why can't I remember? I think we spoke about being present. Um, yes,
Maybe
and
she can
gave
put it in the comments.
yes. Drop it in the comments if I was wrong, please. Today is episode 24, so excuse
Mhm.
me if I've forgotten. Gail and Gail was also a Wonder Woman, and we spoke about du- 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 du, curiosity.
Mm.
And look who else is saying hello down here. Hello, Annie. She says, you ladies are amazing, and I'm so grateful to know you. We're so grateful to know you, Annie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. I want to see. Oh, I have last week's guest, Rochelle, and she's
Mm.
tuned in. She says, I'm tuned in, and this is a great initiative to help people age gracefully and enthusiastically. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. I also want to say hello to Kenny Williams. She's tuned in as well. She said she's highlighting the title of your paper, Trust Me. Oh, we have one more person, Sonia Perez. She says, hello from Mexico. This is my first episode. Thank you for being here.
Wonderful.
Thank you for tuning in. And we have Michelle saying, Inga, it's always great conversations with powerful topics, with strong women. You are great at collecting the best. Yes, I surround myself with powerful women that are making an extraordinary difference. So
Yeah.
thank you, everyone, for being here. Um, Christine,
Mm.
why
Yes.
don't you tell us? Hmm, how did you get to the point where you now are an aging enthusiast? Um, yeah, let us know, how did you get to this point? Because, yes, many of us are resisting aging. We're putting on all the creams, wondering where the heck the fountain of youth is. Um, so, can you walk us through your career journey and how it is that you got to this point, please?
Just mentioned that, I believe, yesterday. Fountain of Youth. It wasn't called the Fountain of Can I Just Stop Aging Now? It was restore, restore. The person searching for it probably wasn't 19. They were looking for, the Beatles song, I Believe in Yesterday, or, someone else is like, oh, um, youth is wasted on the young. As you get older, you realize what a treasure you had. And here you were wasting. This is what happened to me. How did I get to become an aging enthusiast? I was a classroom teacher. I was always around people younger than me. I was a mother. We became parents by adoption, three adoptions. And I always said we're adopting later in life. I was comparing ourselves to so many of our friends who had kids around the same age, but were, a number of years younger than us, or the people our age seemed to have kids that were already graduating. And, here we were pushing a stroller. So I was already thinking age things, already thinking, oh my goodness, I can't show my age. It will be embarrassing for my kids. I literally thought this as they were in grade school. It's going to be really embarrassing for them when they're teenagers and they're like, someone goes, oh, are those your grandparents? No, they're my mom and dad. You know, and I just thought, wow. And so my perspective changed a lot. I was out on my front lawn. Our kids were a bit older and were able to take care of themselves. And my neighbor said, I'm short-handed and you would be perfect. Come in, I'll hire you. What do you do? Oh, I oversee caregivers. I did not. That didn't clarify it for me. I didn't know what a caregiver was. I knew what a nursing home was, and there were workers in there, and I assumed that they were kind of like nurses because it was a nursing home. But she had to explain everything to me. I just had not been aware of this. So I became an in home hired caregiver. So I was brought into houses, or I was sent to an address. I met people who, at one point, it seemed like I had three different clients. I just always called them my people, because I wouldn't say their names anywhere. That was their business if they wanted people to know that they were receiving assistance, not for me to share. So, my people, at one point, I had three 96-year olds. I was enriched. I enjoyed them. They became my new best friends. I
Wow.
also saw that every single family or individual who was challenged by age-related something going on with their mind, with their body, with even with the way that they were perceived by others, seemed to be having to scratch and scrape to get information on what's the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Is there a better way to make sure that they are safe in the slippery wet of a bathroom?
Mm,
Can this situation, is there somewhere where they can be socially enriched that they would enjoy, that this person would enjoy, because they're rather housebound now, all these different things. And so I started seeking out people by literally going into an office and saying, what can be done? Who has written the book
mm,
that covers everything? So I started looking for solutions too. And I relate them to myself. I consider myself at 63 walking into the third of my life. I don't know how long this third is going to last. So with each birthday, I just figure I'm still walking into the front door of the third of my life. I might still be saying that when I'm 96. I don't know how much longer. Medical marvels are happening all the time. So
right.
I went from in person opportunities to really be enriched by people who have lived a long time, and by the people around them who are thinking, who's going to do all this for me when I get to that point, to being a person who seeks out
Mm,
experts and what I call persons of longevity. So people who are like, wow, I have really made it. I'm past the 70s, I'm past the hundreds, wherever they feel like they've really hit a height that they didn't expect. But also people who are just professionals and people who have organizations that support age related
Mm.
challenges. And sometimes that challenge is I've just been made kind of redundant at work because I guess I look too old.
Mm.
and and I want to know what I can do about this. Do I do something different, or am I supposed to turn into a Wonder Woman or an amazing man who says, "Whoop, I'm still what you need here
Mm.
at this business. In
Mhm.
fact, I bring more than anyone else can because I've lived the past and I'm bringing some of those human elements into this present that can't be done by someone who wasn't born then." So,
Yes, yes, I love that. Um, I love, I loved listening to your transition from one side of the spectrum to the other. Um, and ever since I've met you, I know that this is true, that you are enthusiastically aging. Um,
it's true.
it is true. Like, I have never met anyone who is doing it more than you are. And I admire that in you because the rest of us are running away from this. We don't want to age, but what we forget is that wisdom comes with age. We can't be a wise 18-year-old.
I'm like, okay, Inger, let me tell you this. The difference is most of what you did
Mhm.
to this point, you prepared for it. And other people were like coming alongside saying, now, if you hit this kind of a bump in the road, this is a great way to handle it. Or you had peers that were with you
Mm.
advancing into your career. Maybe you went political and you had people going, oh, I just champion you. There's not, it's more difficult to find people who are championing you going, yes, yes, make it to 80 because we're so
Right?
excited to have more 80-year-olds. Instead, everyone's like, ah, what's going to happen to the economy? There's too many old people. And it's like,
Mm.
that's awful. We desire so much to survive and to um, contribute. Oh, I want to think of a different word. We want to be zany and find maybe that amazing thing that maybe isn't the cure to a disease, but it is the cure to something that makes people dismal. And it's like, oh, I want to do this, and you're just thinking, I'm going to need more years. Boy, I hope that I keep my mind and my body so that I can, find that cure and just, you know, bring it to humanity. And so, yeah, I guess I do get enthusiastic. But what didn't happen before now is that people weren't preparing to age well. They were
Mm.
just thinking, how do I survive to that point? And then
Yes.
who's going to keep me in this lounge chair and keep me hydrated so that I'm not suffering and in my old age? And
Yeah. Mm.
it's really, I don't know. It was my privilege to be with people who were saying of themselves in the present tense, I'm still a businesswoman. And I'm like, I love that she said, I'm that I'm a businesswoman
Mm.
rather than, well, long time ago, back in the dinosaur ages, I did some
Mm.
things that kind of relate. It was now.
Yeah.
And ugh, those are some Wonder Women that I don't know. What's the oldest person or who's had the most birthdays on your show? I won't put you on the spot, but have you had someone who's truly a person of longevity yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll give you a challenge to have someone come on and knock your socks off. I can give you a list of people who would
Yes,
do that.
I would love
Yes.
you to introduce me to some people.
You'll be
Yes.
like, "Oh, can I be you when I grow up?" Because right now I'm feeling like I have so much to gain from
Mm,
continuing life into my
mhm,
80s, 90s, and 100s. Yeah.
mm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's say hello to whoever is watching and listening. I see someone that slipped in after I finished displaying the comments. So, hello to you, Whitney. She says, hello from Katy, Texas. Thank you for being here. Um, and your asset in the
Oh,
comments,
that's good.
your asset in the comments says, learn more about being an aging enthusiast at agingbetterNetwork.com. So agingbetterNetwork.com. And by the way, aging is without an E. So
That's not the
please.
right way to spell it. I You and I both know it should have an E in it, but
Yes, that's
there
okay.
is a population that would just be like, "Blah, what?"
Yes. So agingbetterNetwork.com. Check it out. That's Christine's website, and you can learn more about being an aging enthusiast there. Um, we have Ani who says, I just learned that my client's grandmother is turning 108 next month. Wow.
I love
Really?
it.
That is wow. And Auntie Scott says, remarkable. That is, that is wow. Um, we have Michelle. She says, it's always about the perspective. Perspectives shape us, our life, our responsibility. We are we are responsible for the perspective we have in life, but our perspective can only change if we take action, a motivated action. Oh, that's so
Hmm.
true. Hmm. Thank you, Michelle. And I love to see networking in the comments. So if you are watching live on LinkedIn, especially, and you are not connected to Christine, please reach out. She's a lovely lady, um, and awesome to chat to. So Michelle says it's good there are people like you, Christine. Many people need people to help them also when they get older. Wow. Ooh, Karen. Wow, Karen posted a hashtag and it is DCMOJY and it stands for Don't Count Me Out Just Yet. Oh, yes. Um, we have a friend, Catherine. Catherine and I had a conversation on this show a few weeks ago and we spoke about laughter. And she says, you can be a wise Alec. 18-year old. Yes. She's commenting on what I said. We can't be a wise 18-year old, but you can be a wise Alec 18-year old or 17-year old in her house.
In her house.
Yeah. And she says, I'm going to be, oh, I think she's saying she means 80-year-old, but I'm going to be the 80-year-old woman that makes people worry about what she's up to when she shows up. Yes, I can see that, Catherine.
She's gonna
Oh,
be
God.
granny with an attitude.
Yeah.
It's like,
And she
"I've
says,
got things cooking."
but joy is a cure for disease. Wow.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, go
I
ahead.
got to go to a Gero conference. So Gero being short for gerontology, the study of
Mhm.
aging. I got to go to a Gero conference because my husband put a piece of plastic on the table and said, "You know you want to go, just pay for it and go." And it was the next morning. and I registered late at night. Wow, the amazing connections that I made. One of those connections I had breakfast with, and I've been in her home now, and she's going to be a speaker at my in person event, which I will plug right now. It
Yeah.
is convergence experience.com. It's just a different way to approach aging. There will be speakers like you would expect at a conference, but there will also be afternoon collaborations and activities to make different demographics have the opportunity to talk about aging, because that is something that most people are like, let's not talk about that unpleasant subject. I don't think we're that old yet, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But this gal Vicky that I got to meet, she started the first gerontology gathering 46 years ago, and
Wow.
but she's been a little busy lately. So 46 years ago she was respected enough at Oregon State University here in the state of Oregon to say, hey, I want to have a conference. At this point in her life, I do not know her number of birthday candles, but she leads trail rides in Eastern Oregon, which is a more arid and high desert region. So she is definitely don't count me out just yet. So thank you for that hashtag. Oh my goodness. There was a speaker at that conference that was a little more than a year ago who said, I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist for the New York Times,
Mm-hmm.
and we thrive on problems and conflict. Those are the two things. And he thought, oh, what better place to find problems and conflict right now it is to talk to people who are old and crotchety, grouchy old folks and what they have to complain about. And he goes, I couldn't find any. Every time I told someone, you have a lot of, we talked about this adversity, that
Mm-hmm.
person was saying, but I woke up this morning and
Yeah.
hey, I made it down the stairs and I was able to be clever with my groceries so that I could make it up the stairs here in New York City, Manhattan, to
Yeah.
my apartment that has no elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm doing great. And he's just like, where's the complaining? Where's the, they're not doing enough for our age. And he said, I just had to put all my articles of encouragement together in a book about how to be happy. And I was just like, yay, I'm glad he failed
Yeah.
to find and I was like, well, maybe they grouch out of earshot of that guy. And that's what he asked.
Maybe.
And, the family's like, yeah, everybody grouches, but honestly, they are truly grateful for each day. And I'm like, oh, how wonderful. So maybe I'm an aging enthusiast because I want to be like the people that I would go to visit and
Mm,
do whatever little chores for that was making their day even better, but they were making my day better.
mm, mhm. So Catherine said, joy is a cure for disease. And
Yay.
Ileana says, so true. Hello, Ileana. Thank you for tuning in. And your asset in the comments
That
says,
the asset, my hubby producer, because I do have a live
yes,
stream. Go ahead.
he says, he's quoting you and he says, this is your quote, we need to prepare for the emotions of aging. Oh,
That's the
yeah.
kind of advice that you, Inger, because I know you're younger than I am. That's the kind of advice that people gave you as you were approaching new relationships and,
Mm,
new endeavors, or you were trying
yeah.
something, or somebody was dragging you by the ankle to be on video.
Yes.
You start out by saying, so what the heck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Is it similar to me that I finally said, I will touch technology without going gag? I will get to know people virtually, which just isn't real because real is only if they can hear your voice in the same room. I overcame all of my biases and the walls that I had put up for the
Mm,
sake of that one person, whoever they may be. And this applies to business when you're looking for your avatar or your person that, what is your ideal client slash customer, all this. I roll my eyes. I shouldn't. Okay, business people, I'm sorry, but you're looking for who am I doing this for? And am I crafting what I have to offer
mm,
for that person so that I know who it is I'm advertising to and who it is that I'm, whatever, sending the second issue or better improved whatever. But, that one person that I'm looking at right now that's just going, she said she was really emotional coming into a talk about trust in adversity.
mm,
Yeah, so am I. And I'm going, that's what I walked into. Scott and I have gone through horrendous stuff, and I'm going to stop there. And the horrendous things
mhm,
that destroyed trust, which is so big to me, apparently, since I was in college or before, because I've got the paper sitting right here that I typed on my little typewriter at college. That one person who's just going, I feel the same way as people who are afraid of aging or
mhm,
are afraid of how things will get worse as I get older or I'll become lonely. Everything's going to be bigger and harder and heavier or something.
mm,
And just going, wow, I could really use a dose of not just encouragement and diversion, but I
mm,
really could use listening to. So my live stream, I've just pulled in people, I don't even know them. They've left a comment somewhere. I feel lonely and I'm an aging person, and I just pulled them on and said, why don't you come in? And then I asked someone else, you commented in that same social media thing. Would you come in too? So we can just talk about this loneliness thing. It's just gripping and horrible and empties a person out and they become a shell of who they used to be in loneliness.
mm.
Oh my goodness, both those people have come back on the live stream, and I know they're doing more, and they've been enthusiastic about what they're doing or their perspectives on aging or what they are offering other people now. And I'm just like, it was so worth it to just reach out to that
Yeah.
complete stranger and say, come on, it's live. There's no editing. We can't go back
Yes.
and erase that part and just say it. And
Yes.
it's been thrilling. The trust part is
Mm,
what I build with these people who go, this is new to me. And I get to tell them, I was horrified. I said no for months. I did
mhm,
not want to do this. And to let them be able to see someone else who just mustered their courage or took on a challenge from a friend. That's what one person said. A friend said, do something completely new and find
yeah.
out that at the end you survive. And so, yes, I will come onto your live stream show, which by the way, let's see, how do you get to the live stream show? Everything's at agingbetternetwork.com, and you just get to see replays of
Yes.
people talking about stuff that's awkward, not everyone's favorite, and in a group situation,
Mm,
they're just talking to each other and I always say, "Hey, it's a supportive one. I want
yes.
diversity, but
Yes.
supportive diversity, even if you come from different perspectives on what to do when mom's getting a little too funny. It's like, "Mom's getting a little funny." And it's like, "No, this is too funny. I'm getting scared,"
Oh gosh.
or "I don't think I can handle this on my own. I don't have the right
Mm,
personality." And they may be coming from different sides, but support each other's
each other.
endeavors.
Mm.
Yeah.
I want to point out that it may be awkward, but it's relevant and so necessary.
Yeah.
So necessary. So we don't have a lot of time left. We have about 15 minutes. And I've only gotten through one question. So
This happens all the time. I warned you.
I know you did. That's okay. I want to just get through the comments. I also want to say hello to my colleague. He sent me a message. His name is Wayne Southgate, and he is in Auckland, New Zealand. He says, Kia ora, Inga, and Team AKR. I'm just popping in. And then he said, I heard on radio in New Zealand, I am not old, just young longer. I love that.
I've
Just
never heard it put that way.
longer. And then we have Michelle. She says, I love getting older. I don't want to be sick though. So my perspective on life is that I live healthy and well. We are all going to die. It's a fact. It's about whether we want to spend our lives surviving or whether we want to live life. What do we choose to put in our lives until we die? And what are we ready to do to live? Wow, beautiful. Um, and then Aliana says, one of my superheroes on my team is 82, and she always keeps us on our toes. That is beautiful. Scott is letting us know that the Convergence experience is happening October 6th to 9th in Independence, Oregon. So if anyone is in the area or anyone would like to travel for this Convergence experience, please get in touch with Christine or D. Scott Smith and support this endeavor. Catherine said, I presented to some young ladies, the youngest in her 70s, last week about daring to dream for National Women's Day and shared about women over their 70s that dared to try new things. And all of them said part of the secret of aging is enjoying the ride. Wow. And Michelle says this. I'm sitting in an office with a fantastic man who is 67 years old. With us, there is no one else. I'm 45, and when we talk and laugh, we are both 20, 30 to 60, 70, 90. We are friends and we share knowledge, life, and philosophy. I am grateful for him. That's beautiful. Ooh, now, here's a question for you.
Oh.
Question. This is from D. Scott Smith, your husband. He says, question. What's the secret to your longevity? Answer is perhaps because I've lived so long. He says it's a
Ah,
dad joke. It's a dad joke. You're supposed to laugh.
yes.
Oh my gosh. Michelle is sending us another message. She says, when I was 31, I sat at a table with a loving couple where the man was 90 and the woman was 70. I had the 90-year-old man as table gentleman. He was a Star Trek fan like me, and we talked all evening. There's no age difference between us, right? Age is nothing but a number, really. It really is.
Wow.
Whitney says it's your session with Bob Feathers all over again. Yes, so I had a live show with a friend of mine, and we had already talked for half an hour, and I hadn't asked even one question.
I've listened to Bob Feathers too.
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell whoever is watching or listening that has no idea about Ubuntu, which is my guiding principle. Let me tell you about that quickly. So, Ubuntu is an ancient African word and it means humanity to others. It is often described as reminding us that I am because we are. So, because of Ubuntu, I believe that everyone that I am in touch with is part of my community and that we each pour into each other's lives. What does community mean to you?
Okay, so here's this 1920, maybe I was 21 when I wrote this. I don't have the date on here, but this was um, generations back. And I looked at that. I looked at your question. I thought, some of this is here because I was writing that it this is really going to relate to the comments. I'm really grateful for all these people that are your friends, and some of them are mutual friends of ours. I said that that okay. I'm going to start here. Trust must be voluntarily given, like a bridge let down over a moat. I have a whole bunch of castle imagery in this paper I wrote in college.
Mm,
Like a bridge being let down over a moat in welcome.
mm.
Complete trust takes believing that he or she will actually be quiet. I could learn from myself right here. Be quiet. Yes. Be interested. Oh my goodness, that relates to what my husband talks about.
Mm,
That person will be honest and be constructive, that supportive element that I like. Then I add this and be understanding, be able to understand. When all these ingredients are present, except understanding,
mm,
an extreme amount of trust can be given. But the addition of mutual experience and comprehension opens a door farther inside. It lets them into the inner cave and the bedrock of your feelings. I
mm,
was really, what would that be called? I was very cerebral when I
mm,
was that age. I don't know. But here's the part about community. I said that emotions are particularly characteristic of a person's personality traits. I wrote the word age, their status, their background, their aspirations, etc., are more easily shared with one who is or has been in the same shoes. And I'm thinking, I agree with myself to some degree, but not fully. And that's on that word age.
mhm,
Because what have we seen in the comments? We
mm.
weren't any age. We were just sharing and
Yeah,
talking with each other.
yeah,
And I honestly felt, maybe acted even in front of other people differently when I was spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week with people. I was in my 50s then, and they were in their 90s.
mm,
And I felt a, I don't know, I identified as a almost 100-year-old. I felt the way that they felt.
mm,
I took on
mm,
interests that they had. I wanted to learn the songs that they knew back
mm.
when. I was doing crossword puzzles, and I never did crossword puzzles on my own time, not to impress them, but
Yeah,
I was just taking on their characteristics. My community
mhm,
became the people that I spent the most time with,
yeah,
and I I started to, um, go into the culture of that age.
Mm.
And my daughter at one point said, "Mom, you need some friends your own age." And I'm like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why?" I have just these wonderful relationships with people who are giving me advice on my marriage relationship. They're giving me new recipes. They're talking to me about moments in their past
Yeah.
that absolutely astonish me, and I
So much
aspire to
wisdom,
them.
right? So
So
much wisdom.
I agree that community is who you can relate to because you've
Yes.
got a lot of similarities,
Similarities.
but also that open bridge, that trusting, that exchange, that life exchange. The bridge goes down over the moat, and people come in, people go out, they pass by each other, they exchange
Mm.
goods, they exchange stories, they exchange
Mm.
wisdom. That was the gate. The gate
Mm.
was the
Mm.
place to meet together and make decisions, and be able to declare something that would be legally binding. Meet me at the
Mm.
gate and we'll do this. So I see both. I see both as true.
Okay. Um, we have like 4 minutes, so I want to ask you about trust.
Yes.
How did trust become the thing for you that helped you to overcome adversity?
Hmm. I think it helped me to recognize, okay, I think of adversity
Mm-hmm.
as making it hard to live. It is making it hard to live. Like adverse weather conditions are causing your body to have difficulty continuing to live. So that's how I see adversity, and the difficulties that Scott and I have endured, um, that I just don't talk about much. Um, I see that when trust is betrayed, or I'm not able to trust another person anymore, is um, who I am is draining away. I'm dying. I literally told people to their face, and I think they didn't understand because they weren't in it. I'm not me anymore.
Mm.
I've lost myself. I'm lost. That can happen to family caregivers. The adversity is they're not getting sleep. They don't feel that they're caring well enough for this person. They don't know who this person is anymore, that
Mm.
disease of dementia has taken over. And so when I trust, when someone is worthy of the trust, or I am someone who's trustworthy to them, I'm giving them life. I'm building bridges. I'm making it possible to continue to, be alive and thrive,
Mm.
for them, and they for me. And
Mm.
I realized this is a really hard thing to say, but there is a point that um, you have to cut and run. You have to step back. You have to let go because they're dragging you under. I learned that when I was taking swim lessons and learning how to save someone, that there is a point where you need to make sure there's not two people drowning and then someone else has to get both of you. That
Mm.
you need
Mm.
to back away from a situation that's just going to
Yes.
take you both under. And
Yes.
that is a really hard thing to say, because I'm not advocating giving up on a relationship or a person who's in crisis, or a person who's putting you in crisis. But there's a point at which you need to distance and put up the barriers and become a person who can, again, reach out and help someone else. And the people that I served helped me
Mm.
in many different ways. And I don't mean
Mm.
that just in a poetic, nice sense. They said things and did things that helped me be restored in those difficult times.
Yes.
And
It gave
I
you
just,
hope, I
ah,
guess.
yes, yes.
Yeah. I received a message from someone, um, a friend who says, I can relate to the fact of how lonely it gets, simply because I'm afraid to trust at this point. And they also said, if one cannot or you're not able to trust, then you basically place yourself in isolation, which then leads to loneliness, right? Um, and they said also, I like that. Trust must be given voluntarily. Mm, interesting. Let's see what someone said
I'm
in the
impacted by each one of those. I'm those people saying those things. What courage to put that out there,
yeah.
and to I yes, trust is something that's given voluntarily. It is not something you have to. So I think that's why I titled it "Trust Me." Is this
Mm,
a is this a you have to,
mm,
or am I showing myself worthy of that trust?
mm. So Scott says here, he says agingbetterNetwork.com, and the live stream link is in the top menu. He also says
That's
that
true.
the your conference is taking place right in the heart of Oregon wine country in Independence. And Whitney says caregivers need a support system so they can take breaks and care for themselves as well. That is
Yes.
so true.
A
So
gentleman
true.
named Christopher Smith, easy to remember his name for me.
Yes,
He said, "You cannot pour from an
from an empty
empty cup."
cup. Hmm. No, no, you can't. One more question, Christine. If trust is lost, is there a way to rebuild it? What do you think?
Hmm. I don't think my college paper is going to help here.
No, it's not.
No.
Because I can tell you, probably from a young person's perspective, they will say no,
Hmm.
no.
We were told during the adoption processes,
Hmm.
I believe it was by the social worker,
Mm,
who we had to trust because they were going to come into our home and see if we were good enough to be parents. We were already pretty emotional. We just did not need someone coming in and going, being critical or scrutinizing or whatever. And
mm,
we had a wonderful social worker, actually two different ones that said, guard your heart. And so I think what I'm saying right now is trust can be rebuilt,
mm,
but you are wiser. Um, the
mhm,
adage is wiser for the wear, but you are wiser and maybe a little bit wary, just throwing some words around here, that you give your trust and you hold on to the what you've learned about not losing yourself, not being so fully vulnerable that you can be unplugged and drained and squeezed and wrung out and lose yourself, that you kind of have your own safe word, your own phrase of, do even write it down. It's like, uh, you know am I do I still feel safe giving my opinion? Do I still feel heard? Is this,
mm,
there's lots of different ways, I suppose, that trust can be lost. But um, if you've been deceived, that you're just going, do I?
cut my
Do
losses.
I still have a grip on myself? Do I still, do I have a support system of others that can that have permission to come to
Mm,
me and go, I think it's happening again. I see some of the same stuff. And they have your permission to say, this is what I'm seeing,
mm,
So, a support system around you, even if it's a person that you meet with online that has permission to ask you tough questions, like Inger Van Roy
mhm,
has permission to say, are you losing yourself again? Are you feeling safe? Um,
mm,
are your questions do you have questions that are bothering you and that maybe you need to ask someone else those hard questions and
mm,
see if their response is, oh my goodness, have I given you that impression? Please give me an opportunity to restore trust again.
mm,
Just the thrill of having trustworthy relationships might be worth um, having having the courage to ask hard questions, like,
mm,
is this happening again? So,
mm,
I think it's built more wisely, just like people retrofitting buildings going, earthquakes do come, and yes, we wish that they wouldn't, and we'd rather just build the way we used to without all this extra material, but we are wiser now that we've seen what devastation can happen. And so more fortified, moving forward, more fortified.
mm. Okay, thank you. Definitely something to chew on. Thank you, Christine, and
Thank you
thank
for making me think like what do I say about that? What do I think, or what's my core
you.
value on that?
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being an amazing guest because you are.
Thank
You
you.
are definitely worthy of the title Wonder Woman. So, thank you for
Mm.
being here with us. Thank you for sharing the space with me. And if you are listening or watching and you'd like to get in touch with Christine, please check out her website at agingbetternetwork.com without an E. So aging without an E. So it's AGING, agingbetternetwork.com. Thank you, Christine. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Be blessed. And if you would like to, you can wait for me on the other side. Um, I just want to wrap up.
Wonderful. I will.
Okay. And if you are still watching or listening, thank you for being here and sharing this space with us. Please note that we are going to jump over to the radio where I'll be playing some music and wrapping up this um, discussion about trust. Thank you to you for being here, for spending this time with us. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your Wednesday and week. Michelle says, great conversation. I want to wish everyone a great day and evening. I trust you. Love and light. Thank you, Michelle. And Annie also says, wonderful conversation. Thank you, Annie, for being here with us. Thank you. Even if I didn't know that you were listening, I appreciate you. And I'm going to be playing you a song on the radio. So come on and join us on that side on africa.co.za. Click listen live to tune in and hear what it is I have to say after this. Take care, be blessed, and I'll see you soon.